Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be talking about how you could be more effective with your ground contact, and we'll start the video right now.
This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab.
Reach your individual goals. You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video. Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become. All right, so I was a little bit late getting in the videos this week to the video editor, and so these are going to be 100% edited by me. I hope you like them. Big thing I wanted to be able to do, and just really important to continue to get this video out. So I'm like, I'll even do the video editing on a Friday afternoon to make sure that we're able to get this information to you guys to make it so you can improve, right? So big commitment to being able to help you guys out as always. So what we're looking at is the backside, right, and how we can have a better understanding of where we want to be with our foot leaving the ground, how we want to be able to cycle the leg through when it's off the ground in order to make it so it's the most effective foot contact when it comes back onto the ground. Now, both these athletes are both, very fast, coming within, the top, 2 or 3 every single race in kind of the local area in the 100-meter. One's a little bit older than the other, but we see here what's happening during the kind of toe off phase, right? So we have one where you can see pretty much the whole bottom of the foot, where the other you really can only see, or you can really only see a limited part of the foot, right? And as the transition happens, there ends up being the time when the foot kind of rotates through here. And really the big thing that we want to be showcasing here is how that ends up impacting the position of where the foot is in comparison to the hip, right? So you can see the difference here. Okay, and that's going to be an ineffective way of being able to drive the foot through. And then what happens here is you can see with this athlete we're getting a much better position, and really where I think you can even think about as a sprinter, as a runner, you can, because we see this, we talked about this with that internal rotation in that last video, where we see that foot, you almost want to have that foot come off to the side and have that knee, more to the inside. And thinking about it in that way could help you in being able to, be more effective being able to not drive that knee through. Because we could see, as he's driving the knee through, there's not a lot of space here between the legs, right? In comparison to, here where we're going through that same kind of, part of the run, right? So we can maybe say it's about right in this area. You can see a lot more space, right, between the knees. Okay, and so we don't want to end up having, again, too much space there. We want to be very, very, and the reason or the way to be able to help with that, and you can see this one's better, right? Not 100% perfect, but better in terms of the positioning of the foot comparison to the knee. But you could really see that difference here, right? And then being able to try to work on being, from that toe off position, getting that foot to be more aligned overall, right? So there's some steps where there's better than others, but for the most part, we're getting more of this action where you can see that knee, being more outside the foot, right? And that's going to just make it so then as that foot cycles through, we've talked about this before, right? There ends up being this time where your foot ends up hitting more in the midline, where you want to have your foot more right underneath the hip during that toe off. Okay, so that's one thing, right? And we're going to be able to see, now with the athlete here, we have a good, push off, good contact with the ground. But notice here, as that foot's cycling through, where we're at with, the foot, the ankle, and even, the ability to maintain, quality positioning of the body, right? So what you want to be able to do, and even athlete on the left, I guess we can go probably more on the left leg here, right? So you can see as he's cycling through with the foot, you can see a little bit of turn there. We can see it on this left leg, right? So see how he's hitting this left foot with everything nice and stable, right? We can see that positioning of the foot ends up being, really effective overall, because everything is going to be in more of alignment, right? There's a lot of stability there, right? The ability to then transfer off or transition off is really good, right? So there's a lot of good things that we're seeing with the positioning of, the foot. The only thing I would say is maybe being able to get a little bit more of like a plantar flexion or better positioning of where that foot's hitting. It's a little bit more on the outside. Overall, it would be better to be able to get a little bit more plantar flexion, a little bit more, towards the middle inside part of the foot. But really here, we're landing too far out in front, right? We're landing too far back,
And there's really an ineffectiveness in being able to, and really we should probably get more to top speed here, really an ineffectiveness of being able to get into good quality dorsiflexion, right? So once there's dorsiflexion kind of achieved, we're not able to really maintain that position very well, and therefore we end up landing really too far back in the foot. And while there's the ability to transition effectively and then push off, we're really not able to generate the same type of force in the ground. Really not great here, right? So this is really, a good example of not good front side mechanics, right? So see how that knee ends up going here, and the toe doesn't get all the way around until the very end. So now, when you end up striking the ground, we're not going to be able to get the foot into, the same type of position. And then, once that ends up being the cycle, right, you end up getting this pattern, then your body ends up kind of, following suit there, right? So you can see again here, this is not bad, right? But now we want to be able to get dorsiflexion, get that heel around, get that toe all the way around. So having the right range and having the right understanding of where we want to be makes it so that we can strike the ground, with the right amount of force and be able to, then continue to accelerate, right? So once we start to make ineffective landing positions, once our posture starts to get off, once there ends up not being, good balance from the left leg to the right leg, now we create this time where we're really at our peak, right? We're at our top velocity. We're at the most that we could possibly, generate. And, that's what ends up making it so you can't get, substantial improvement or make consistent gains overall, right? So, this is where we want to be able to really isolate, like, where can we improve as athletes, right? And so, here, we're working on being able to, get better at some of the traditional, parts of movement that go around sprinting, which is going to be, hamstring strength, plyometric, overall power, overall strength, being able to have great calf range of motion, calf strength, anterior tib range of motion, anterior tib strength, hip flexor strength. All those muscles are all going to be super important, obviously, adductor strength, but also making it so we can address some range of motion issues, right? And making it so some of these, parts of your running patterns end up being very, very specific. And this is where I like to be able to, exercise and then use the exercise to then be able to apply to the running. Because once you start to be able to, get some activation through the hamstrings, start, doing some squats, doing some deadlifts, getting your body going, then, for whatever reason, at least this is what I've been able to see is, then when you can implement some running behind that, it really, especially some technique-based running, it really gives your body a great opportunity to, make some adjustments, right? You almost can connect to your muscles in a different way. Or when you're just sprinting, right, it's a little bit harder to be able to understand because, you've just kind of worked on sprinting drills. You've just only done, running type of exercises. And, because of that, it seems like it's a little bit more of a challenge to be able to make any type of changes. So, I don't necessarily like to sprint at 100%, after doing some, weightlifting or some plyometrics or things like that. But I do like to be able to implement some treadmill work when working out or when doing some of those exercises, because it seems to help athletes being able to, address some of the issues that they have within the mechanics. And then, that gives them the opportunity to make improvements overall. So, that's just been working for me, and then I'd pass that on to you guys, as well as just be able to see some new stuff from the back view. I know it's hard to be able to see stuff from that angle, and so, really being able to see consistent running from the side, consistent running from the back, I think that really makes a big difference, right? Especially for people that don't have any experience in understanding where they're at from a sprinting perspective or running mechanics perspective. Once you start to be able to see some of these types of, movements and start to be able to understand, where there could be some asymmetry and some differences, it could really make a big difference in being able to make a lot of change really quickly. And so, that's really the main point of the video here. I hope that you liked it. If you did, go and click that thumbs up down below, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, you can leave those down below. And, as always, check out the description. We have some great things going with the sprint breakdowns, with the How to Run a Faster 40, with some of our other, speed programs. There's a lot of great things that we want to be able to offer to you guys. And, this is, the best time to be able to take action, because all I'm going to be able to do, from this point forward is just going to be able to, charge more and, make it even more difficult to be able to get into some of these programs. And so we do have some new things that we're coming out with that I'm very excited about, and, look forward to being able to, offer to you guys. But You know, there's going to be a ton of value in there, but they're probably going to be, you know, more expensive overall. Just because I think that the knowledge and the information that you can get from all this is very, very high quality. And I also am going to probably start taking some of these YouTube videos off just because, you know, I'm going to probably end up using them for, you know, other programs and things like that. So again, thanks for watching, guys. And if you have questions, go ahead and reach out to me, and, you know, we'll talk to you soon.